This is the president of the nation of Peru, Dina Boluarte. President Boluarte used to be a leftist, a faithful member of the left-leaning and socialist party Free Peru. But 2 years ago, she was expelled from the party and has since swung way to the political right. And her latest act as president has only served to confirm that political transformation. On Wednesday, President Boluarte signed a decree issued by Peru's health ministry. The decree formally declares that all people who identify as transgender or non-binary will now be officially classified as, quote, mentally ill. Government policy from now on considers conditions such as transsexualism, dual-role transvestism, gender identity disorder in childhood, and other gender identity disorders as mental illnesses that will now be guaranteed full coverage of medical attention for mental health. And that's the key. Peru's government is arguing that far from getting special rights, transgenders need treatment. And that's the point of the decree. It will make psychological treatment freely available to those affected. And according to President Boluarte, the decree categorically reaffirms respect for the dignity of the person and their free actions within the framework of human rights, providing health services for their benefit. Obviously, such rhetoric is not assuaging the pro-trans organizations out there. There's been nothing short of a fury sparked among LGBT rights groups. Human Rights Watch is calling on human rights organizations from around the world to put pressure on Peru to recant such a decree, and obviously boycotts against Peru are being organized as we speak. However, the problem for these efforts is that what's happening in Peru is actually part of a wider worldwide trend that suggests that trans activism and trans rights appear to have bumped up against their social and political limits. Wait until you see these latest developments. They're going to blow your mind. But first, gang, as you know, it is springtime and the bees are out and about, buzzing away, but they're doing a lot more than just pollinating. Now bees are saving America from the woke wave of leftist culture that's trying to wipe out all that's good and true. I kid you not. Turley Talks is teaming up with MakeHoneyGreatAgain.com to bring you something truly spectacular, MAGA honey. You can now get a 16-ounce bottle of pure, raw, ultra MAGA honey packaged in a bottle that looks just like our great president, Donald Trump. This untouched raw honey came straight from 11,000 hives in South Carolina. And I'm telling you, honey never tasted as good as it does coming from a Trump-inspired bottle. Trust me. So what are you waiting for, gang? Visit MakeHoneyGreatAgain.com. Use promo code Turley to show your support. We can make honey and America great again. Just click on that link below right now. It all began a couple of years back in the nation of Hungary, when their parliament passed a law officially ending the legal recognition of transgenderism in their nation. Now, the upshot was that the law forced transgender people to have to affirm the same gender as designated on their birth certificates and all their official documents, and it makes it impossible for people legally to change that gender. And the law has since served to institute a total ban on things like gender reassignment therapy and surgery altogether throughout Hungary. But as it turned out, it's not just Hungary. Just a few months back, the National Health Services of England announced their decision to ban puberty blocker treatment for children. Now, puberty blockers were being used as part of gender dysphoria treatment among children. According to the Mayo Clinic, trans rights activists believe that puberty blockers can help improve the mental well-being for children who are struggling with gender dysphoria, which involves a psychological tension between their bodies and their internal sense of gender. But as it turns out, officials at the NHS in England vociferously disagreed with that assessment. They looked at the science rather than the activism, and they concluded that puberty blockers do far more harm than good. Elon Musk weighed in on X. He said it very simply and cogently. British officials actually looked at the data and concluded that they needed to shut down puberty blockers for kids. They do far more harm than good. It's really that simple. And again, this puberty blockers ban came on the heels of yet another ban announced back in April of 2020. UK officials announced that they were officially banning transgender sex change surgeries for all minors, for all Brits under the age of 18. And we've seen a similar line being drawn here in the United States among the more red states, from Florida to Oklahoma, Texas, Arizona, Tennessee. They've all been implementing bans on gender reassignment surgery for minors inside their states, as well as bans on trans athletes competing in women's sports. That's a whole other issue that's getting some significant traction around the world. Back in June of 2022, the swimming world's international governing body, known as FINA, decisively ruled that post-pubescent biological males are now permanently banned without exception from competing in women's swimming competition. And we're seeing comparable limits being set up all throughout Europe. In Italy, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has been putting restrictions on adoption with LGBT couples. Poland, in their previous administration, made similar moves as well. And as we could see with this latest decree coming out of Peru, these efforts at imposing limits on trans activism and normalization has spread to Latin America as well. Again, Peru isn't the first to pass a decree like this. In El Salvador, the incredibly popular President Nayib Bukele dissolved what was called the Ministry for Social Inclusion, which conducted training on gender identity and investigated LGBT issues nationwide. And Bukele has also issued a complete ban against teaching gender theory from all Salvadoran public schools. All of this suggests that trans activism has begun bumping up against its political and social limits. And a lot of these limits are coming in the form of governments trying to revitalize their respective nations' falling fertility rates. This is certainly the case in Hungary and Italy, where more and more governments are recognizing that if they don't institute pro-natal, pro-family policies, their respective nations are simply not going to exist in 50 years. And so again, whether human rights organizations like it or not, these governments are increasingly recalibrating their social policies around more traditionalist, more pro-life, pro-natural family sentiments, literally in the name of national survival. So all of this is to say that the trans movement had a great run, but it does look like the games are indeed coming to an end. Here's your opportunity to tell big tech tyrants where they can stick it. Click on that link below and download our brand new cancel-proof Turley Talks app, and you can sign our special declaration of restoration. That's our petition to big tech that declares a new day is dawned. They are no longer in control, and we are taking our nation back. We've already got over 1,000 signatures of courageous patriots, and yours is next. Click on that link below or go to fight.turleytalks.com right now.